Okay, there's only a few more elements to add to finish this scene. We're going to put the title in. So the title was made in PowerPoint, and it's just a little bit easier to use PowerPoint to make titles, just for a little bit more control. So we want the title to appear in the last section of this video. So find where the car makes its journey across the screen, and we want the title to appear around about the same time. So the title is going to be coming up over the horizon, but it would work just as well to have the title just appear in the sky. But I just thought this is a little bit more interesting. So the title has gone onto video track 4. Arrange it at that space in the timeline. Put the player head above the title, and we can see we need to apply some filters. So let's get rid of that green screen. Use the dropper tool, select green. It hasn't quite done a great job, so just increase that a little bit. See how far we can take it. It wouldn't matter if the title is a little bit transparent as well, not too much. That seems to have gotten rid of most of the green, so that's about 60%. And now what we want to do is be able to animate the title and move it, so size, position, and rotate. And like we'd put keyframes in for the car to make it start over on this side of the screen and end up on this side of the screen, we'll apply the same principles to the title. So if the title is selected, click on the stopwatch icon for keyframes, and it automatically puts in the first keyframe. But we want the first keyframe to be when the title is actually below the horizon. Okay, so move ahead in that clip, hit the stopwatch icon again, and another keyframe is put on. So we want it to be somewhere around about the end there. Move the title up to the position that we want it to be in at that point in the clip. Now you can see I haven't done that properly, so just need to delete that keyframe that just popped up there. I'm going to use these arrows to go back. So it's important that the player head is on the keyframe when you're setting the position of an element. Otherwise it will create a new keyframe. So there we go, roundabouts there, and just do a quick preview. See how fast it comes up in relation to the car going past. So there's a lot of stuff happening on the screen at once. It's very engaging, and it stays there in the sky for a little bit. We could even make it just come up a little bit faster. Okay, and that will be fine. So let's go back to the timeline. And the last couple elements to add in are the sandstorm effects. So if we go back to the playlist, there's 2 sandstorms that you've imported. One's called Sandstorm Light, and we can put that on the very top video track. So this is just some sand blowing, which will look nice in the foreground. So let's apply the chroma key to that, and have to really adjust that. Take it up a fair bit. I think as long as we can see just a little bit of dust swirling around there, that'll be fine. So do a quick check. That's fine. And then we're going to add also the other, actually let's just trim this clip, we don't need it to go too far. So put the player head somewhere towards the end there, around about the same place where all the other clips have finished. Split it, select the bit on the end, delete it, it's easy enough. If we need a little bit more space, we can just extend it, or we can delete it the other way. Okay, playlist. The other Sandstorm has got a slightly strange name. Footage Crate Sandstorm. Footage Crate is the name of the website that it came from. So let's move that down. Now this is actually a huge dust storm, which I thought would be useful just to end the scene with. So this is a little bit fiddly, but what we want is for this sandstorm to come across the screen and obscure the title. So you can see just as it plays there, it's a little bit small. We really want that dust storm to be taking up all of the screen space. So we're going to, we might first of all actually just slow it down so it lasts a little bit longer. So having the clip selected, go to Properties, and just take the speed down, maybe to 60%. You can always come back and change it. And that's extended it a little bit. Gives us a little bit more to play with. And then what we want to do is be able to move it around. So let's go to Filters, Apply a Filter, Size, Position, and Rotate. And we really want to make this quite a bit bigger and move it up. I think we're going to go even bigger than that. Of course, the bigger we make it, the more quality that we lose. So after a while it becomes hard to use these handles to move it, so we can just use these values here to move it. The first value is the X value, meaning left to right, and the second value is the Y value on the axis, up and down. So let's try just moving it upwards a little bit more. It's a bit of a slow process, but we want it to be able to obscure the title. It'll come rolling across the screen, and just as a creative way of ending the scene. So it'll take a while to get that into place. Ideally, we want the cloud to come across and completely fill up the screen. So let's just see. Now that's at the very start of the clip. So we might move the X value to make it move backwards. And so it'll start off screen and come across the screen. Again, it's a slow process. If you want to take a go at putting in some random numbers here, let's see what happens when we put in minus 2000. Has that gone too far? It kind of has. Oops, that's minus 200, minus 2000. It's still not off. We'll keep going. Might go the other way. Minus 4. There we go. Minus 5. We're getting closer. Let's just add another 500 to that. Almost there. So let's just see. When we now put the player head there, does it come across the screen completely? Not quite. So we need to enlarge it even more so that by the time it gets to the end of the clip, it's completely over the title. You could also do some keyframing here, just to help it to move across the clip a little bit faster, actually. And that looks like about there. So we go back here. Okay, that's all right. So from that point forwards, we could just do a fade out of all the video clips in the after we do a final render. We'll export this, and just at the end of this little section here, we can just fade out to hide that little bit of title that we can still see there. But that's the final step in creating just the scene itself. So should always be saving it, and after we do that, we can export it. So sometimes export appears down here, sometimes it actually isn't visible there. When it's not visible down here, we can just go up here, export, select export file. You'll find a space to save it to, a folder or a desktop. So I've already exported an earlier version of the scene. So I'll call this one demo, save, and then over in this side of the screen it shows you the progress. It'll take a little while depending on how efficiently your laptop's working. It might take 10 minutes to finish exporting that. But that's it. And then the next step is to turn that exported video into a trailer.